Welcome back to APS Amplifier. This is the Pot of Greed.
And today we've got a lot of interesting trading card game news.
And some other things.
And some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Nintendo Direct to sort of go over and react to.
That was actually a fun watch. I hope you guys saw it.
So yeah, thanks as always for supporting the podcast. And I think we should probably kick it off with what seems to be the biggest TCG news. Two products.
Oh, yeah,
a few products that were announced. Mm-hmm. So I actually saw this in a press release, so kind of interesting stuff. There is going to be, for the first time, a 2-player starter deck set.
So if I remember correctly, we did a video with a two-person starter deck set that was only released in Europe, right?
Yeah, they've done this sort of thing a little before. But I guess for the first time, they're going to be making a new one. So here's the product description. It's not super long. The new Yu-Gi-Oh TCG 2-player starter set is the perfect way for any duelist to learn the ropes with a friend, their family, or all by themselves, which sounds like weirdly lonely.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it by yourself.
Using two different decks to go head-to-head, the starter set's 64-page comic book walks you through a scripted, non-randomized duel to teach Yu-Gi-Oh TCG basics from the beginning, from your first card draw through summons and battles to the extra decks, Synchro and Xyz monsters.
Wait, okay. So that you said something very interesting there.
Yes.
There's a comic book?
Yeah, this is actually the part that caught my attention the most, was outside of, I guess, the concept of the product, a comic book, which I'm assuming means manga. And I just maybe don't want to say manga.
Kind of the assumption
because maybe more people would relate to.
Now, I was very interested when you said that, but then I kind of got a little apprehensive.
Oh, in what way?
64 pages.
Yeah, no, I guess that says a lot about what you.
I know people that can't get through 15 pages of like a normal book.
So my assumption is that because it's like a comic book, there's maybe a bit of a story and some setup to it.
As long as there's lots of big pictures,
like big pictures and like characters, and it teaches you, all the basics. Something I noticed here is that they mention Synchro and Xyz monsters in the extra decks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll get back to that in a second. So after completing the teaching duel, the decks can be reassembled to go through it again or use as standard and complete dueling decks to launch your journey into the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG universe. Each 2-player starter set includes 2 different 44-card decks. That's 2 40-card main decks and then 2 4-card extra decks. So a total of 80 commons and 8 ultra rares. And then a 64-page teaching comic book. Okay, and that's the product blurb.
Right.
Your thoughts? Good, bad, yes, no?
So my first, good, right?
Okay.
The first thing I have to say, it's a good step. Now, whether it gets an A versus a C or even a D, that remains to be seen.
I agree with you. Sorry, you had...
I just want to know, what is Konami's idea of a beginner-friendly tutorial deck? What does that look like?
I know. I'm really curious about it myself. So yeah, my thoughts are pretty much the same. I think this is really good. I have said, and if you guys have watched this channel, I've said for years that Yu-Gi-Oh needs a 2-player product. Mm-hmm. We need kind of because Pokemon has so much of this, and I think Magic has them too, where it's just these 2-player products. They cost $20 or maybe $30 or whatever. You get 2 ready-to-play decks that are balanced for facing against each other. It's perfect for getting for you and a friend. Great for younger players. A+ for me, at least in terms of concept. Now, what these end up being, how accurately they represent what Yu-Gi-Oh is today, that's kind of more open to interpretation.
Is it going to be filled with just 1,001 vanilla monsters? And
I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit more complex than that. But if they do that, then well,
because you can make synchros with vanillas, and you can make Xyz with vanillas too.
Because it's always been a bit of a hassle. Is you can't obviously, I guess, throw its branded deck into a starter deck just thing and give you everybody and
maybe you can if they're following a comic book that tells them how to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in a second because I have thoughts on that, but I do think that it would be nice if they can try to make these not feel too dumbed down and rudimentary to where they maybe misrepresent what you're getting into when you play Yu-Gi-Oh.
I feel like it's hard not to misrepresent when the staple cards of yesteryear that were great for learning the game back then are so irrelevant now. It's not even funny.
Yeah. It's going to be tricky. And then also the way that, Yu-Gi-Oh kind of guys will do this thing where it's this is a monster card. here's its level and like here's how much attack and stuff it has and all these things. But really, like, so little of it kind of means anything when the game is playing out. Like, it means a lot, and yet it doesn't. And so it's, yeah, that's something that's always going to be, like, kind of hard to, I think, accurately convey in a structure deck, or a starter deck. But I'm rooting for them. Now, I noticed that they say Synchro and Xyz monsters. They don't seem to mention Pendulum or Link monsters.
Good.
Which I think good because I know those mechanics are like kind of alienating to people.
They're polarizing.
And very polarizing. But I mean, I guess it would have been nice to just teach people everything if you're going to have a beginner. Like, it was 64 pages anyway.
I guess Pendulum might be tough, but there could have been Link monsters. They could have.
Yeah, I think Link probably would have been a good one to have. I will say, though, as far as like what that might allude to the character theming around this, I thought it might be like Yusei and like Yuma. Like synchro and like a synchro kind of an Xyz based deck or something to face off against each other.
Oh, I've got a little bit of experience with showing people how to play Yusei's cards. I won't talk too much about that, but
yeah, it's a nightmare.
That Synchron deck is not it's not like a beginner friendly deck.
They'll have to dumb it down more. It could be really kind of fun if it's not Yuma and Yusei, but rather maybe like Crow and like someone from Zexal. I don't know who else. Crow and like Shark or something. Because, like, I think Xyz is an easy mechanic to learn. Two monsters, same level, easy peasy.
It is simple.
Synchro is, like, a little more involved. So, I think Yusei Synchrons tend to be a little bit too demanding in terms of combos. Blackwings today can technically be just as bad. But, like, I think that they're at least a little more... They can be played in a more streamlined way.
I can teach people how to synchro. All you need to do is just give me my old dark synchro deck from back in the day. Plague Spreader, Zombie, Malicious. I can get anybody synchro summoning with that deck.
Which, believe it or not, wouldn't be a bad one to throw in here.
Goblin either. Zombie plus Plague Spreader. You make your level 6. You use Plague Spreader's effect. Synchro summon again to make an 8. Next thing, now they're just 5Ds masters in 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how much this will cost. My guess is like $24.99. I know they've been because like the structure decks now cost a lot, $11.50.
Did it say anything about accessories that come with it?
No, it's just these 2 decks and a comic book.
Well, and again, if they're making like depending on the quality of that book, that can raise the price up or down. Because 64 pages, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm calling $25. 30 is the most I think they should get away with or something like that.
I'm gonna start on 30. I'm gonna double down on 30. That's where my bet is gonna be.
Okay. I wonder if there's gonna be like any reprints, like just to kind of pull in
Triple
that
Tactics
competitive
Thrust
type. Oh God, we'll be lucky.
If you want people to learn Yu-Gi-Oh today, we have to give them the cards that they expect to play against.
I will say I think that they should at least put in like Prosperity or something. And that might be a hot take, move, but let the decks kind of get something going. Yeah, so interesting product, right? Like I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's dope. You know, a lot of what we've done in the past is onboarding people onto Yu-Gi-Oh. It's nice to see Konami actually try and do a bit at themselves.
Yeah, I'm team onboard. I see criminally few amounts of like new players at these card shops. I don't feel like I'm seeing enough young blood. I don't feel like I'm seeing enough like new faces. It's not to say that like there's anything wrong with the people who are like, you know, who've been playing for 20 years. But I think like when you want, you know, looking to the future, you know, you would want people to have kind of a good entryway product. And
I did actually that actually made me think about something I want to talk about. We've talked before about how there isn't as much new blood entering the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, but that actually has created a bit of a weakness that these newer card games, I think, get to exploit against Yu-Gi-Oh. Even though these games have nothing on Yu-Gi-Oh. Digimon has nothing on Yu-Gi-Oh. Flesh and Blood has nothing on Yu-Gi-Oh. Like these newer games, they can't hold a candle to what Yu-Gi-Oh is. It is what it is. But when it comes to getting new young players, I think those games are siphoning off so much of the potential players. To do it. They're just siphoning them off.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I've said for years and years, I think Yu-Gi-Oh needs better onboarding products. I think that's always been kind of its big weakness, is like its reputation for being a bit of a mess. Like it's just long combos and like it's just confusing and it's like a meme. And like I'll own up to it. We've done our fair share of that, like causing that rep too. Like everyone's done the skits about like old Yu-Gi-Oh versus modern Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's bread and butter, baby.
Old was so simple and new so crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, I do think that it's something that Konami seems like they're maybe finally becoming more aware of, and that might have gone into the decision to make the product. And yeah, as far as like other games taking it away, I buy it. Like, I think some games are just easier to pick up.
It's weird. I would never consider these games a threat to Yu-Gi-Oh! Only in that when it comes to getting newer players, they just make it so much harder.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this is Yu-Gi-Oh's way to fight back.
Push back against the power.
I'll be keeping up with this. They also mentioned this is like, name is subject to change. So I'm assuming they'll give it a more intense name than
what
just...
name did they have down again?
Yu-Gi-Oh TCG 2-player starter set.
Oh, yeah, ain't no way.
I'll have to give it something a little bit cooler.
Double Duel. Like, Tag Madness.
One like quick, vaguely related thing with this. So I was in Target the other day, and Target's better than Walmart. Yeah. I saw that they've been restocking the Slifer and Obelisk decks.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I thought, I was like, is this just maybe like one warehouse that happens to have some? It's like a one-time thing. But then I saw on the internet some people are on like Reddit saying like, oh, my wife and I just got these like Egyptian god decks and we're playing them. And we have this like issue with them or whatever. I was like, so I guess they're like maybe trying to like put these back out on the shelves.
They have to stop confusing people.
Those products, those are the worst. I really do not like those.
God, come on, man. Like it's just not. Who are these for?
Yeah, I don't. So anyway, yeah, that was just a quick thing. So the next product is the 25th anniversary Rarity collection. So we jump over from like kind of a onboarding entry point product to now something that seems squarely targeted at collectors.
So what's interesting? I believe Rarity Collection is actually an OCG set.
It is an OCG set, or something very similar to it.
Yeah, something close.
So the 25th anniversary Rarity Collection, here's the blurb. Coming this November, you can finally get your hands on 2 new card technologies that have only been available overseas until now. Technologies. I love when they call them technologies.
I mean, it does. I guess they use technology to print them. I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like something Kaiba would say. 2 new card technologies.
Though Kaiba would actually have circuitry running through the cards.
The 25th anniversary Rarity Collection is a spectacular all-foil set with 79 of the game's most popular cards, each available in 7 different rarities, including 2 brand new rarities. Super Rares, Ultra Rares, Secret Rares, Quarter Century Secret Rares, which celebrate the 25th anniversary, Platinum Secret Rares, as last seen in the 2015 Megaton. Hated those things. Those were hideous. New prismatic style collector's rares made with extra sparkle. This is the same as the Japanese collector's rare technology previously only available in Asia. New prismatic style ultra rares with a raised 3D varnish effect. This is the same as the Japanese ultimate rare technology previously only available in Asia.
So I think I know what those OCG rarities look like, because I mean, you guys, if you've been on Amplifier, we've opened up a few OCG packs.
Yeah, from like Yu-Gi-Oh Market and stuff.
But we never know the name of the rarities. I never know that we're seeing.
I think one of those products had the names of the rarities on the back, and there might have been actually like in English, so I might have to reconsult that.
Yeah,
and like try to kind of confirm what's what with these rarities, because as they say in this blurb, watch as your cards sparkle, shine, and gleam in rarities so luxurious that you will be the envy of every duelist. Even though it's like, I mean, everyone's going to be buying this, but.
I mean, will you be the envy? Because I distinctly remember when they made the Noble Knights in their version of Platinum Rarity.
Those are the worst.
And God. I don't know if anyone liked that.
Watch your cards sparkle, shine, and warp in rarities. Because I'm sorry, I know that's going to be a big thing.
Paul, we have to dig up Alex's old Noble Knight cards and get them on camera one day.
Yeah, so people can see how truly atrocious. You know what's funny? There are people who are playing Yu-Gi-Oh today who like started playing after that Noble Knight product was released, and they'll never know how awful those rarities were.
Good.
They're so
I'm happy
dark,
for them.
they're hideous.
I love that for them.
Anyways, go into your next tournament well prepared with competitive mainstays that can go in any deck, like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, Nibiru the Primal Being, Effect Veiler, and Infinite Impermanence. So far, so good.
Those are solid
I've
cards.
been a firm proponent of like reprint hand traps every single year. Keep reprinting them, never stop, because they're always in demand.
Right.
Unlock the full potential of your extra deck with game-defining cards like Baronne de Fleur, who I hate, and Borreload Savage Dragon. And fans of the anime will finally get another chance at obtaining the Egyptian god Slime.
I guess Slime only has one printing.
Yeah, I think it only has one printing.
That's fair.
I think
it had a price too.
It had a little price.
Yeah, it did.
It had a little price tag to it.
Yeah, we did need another
if you like
printing.
our raw deck type of thing or whatever, you might want that.
And guys, like it's not even that bad of a card. I know we rag
okay.
on like Egyptian gods all the time, but so that Egyptian god support, not talking about the structure decks,
Yeah,
was
just the
not
raw support.
yeah the
Was
raw
really
support
good.
it was not that bad.
And you can add some of the best spell cards in the game to your collection and your deck. Cards you won't want to miss out on, like Pot of Prosperity, Triple Tactics Talent, and Forbidden Droplet. So good inclusions.
Yeah, I do need some droplets. I'd actually just bought some tactics again, but what about thrust?
Yeah, I guess it's still too new for them. They got to save that for like next year's Megaton.
Yeah, for the Megaton.
And in a special twist, the structure of these packs is like nothing you've seen before, as each pack has a chance to have 1, 2 sometimes, or even 3. Whoa, jackpot. These are actually things in their blurb. I'm not like adding this.
I was wondering why you were wasting my time. If it so it could be 1 or 3.
1, 2, or 3 of the new luxury rare technologies. Each pack will contain 7 cards, 2 super. Or wait.
Ooh, that boy can't read.
Okay. Oh, each pack has 5 cards. There's 7 different rarities. 5 cards per pack. 79 total cards in the set.
Oh, okay.
So each pack will contain 2 super rares, 1 secret rare that has a 1 in 4 chance of being upgraded to a platinum or quarter century secret rare, and then 2 ultra rares, each of which has a 1 in 6 chance of being upgraded to a new prismatic style collector's rare or new prismatic style ultra rare. A lot of words to take in, but there's a lot of rarities going on.
Shiny pack.
A lot of shiny stuff. And now here's the kicker that I think is the first time, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, that Yu-Gi-Oh has ever done this. With every card available in every rarity, you can collect matching copies or mix and match the rarities of all your favorite cards. I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh's done this.
Every card can be any
Every rarity, yeah.
So
there are 7 different rarities in this set and 79 cards, and every card can be.
So that explains why it's such a small set. It's only 79 cards.
Well, it's actually not even that small because there are smaller ones.
I mean, there are smaller sets, but I mean, 79 cards, it kind of screamed, but it's not a very big set. But then it's like, but if every card can be every rarity that's super rare, ultra rare, secret rare, and multiple versions of secret rare, that is actually a lot of possibilities.
I wonder what this means for like their printing costs. I feel like it'd be expensive to just have so
sound
much,
high.
like so many different. Maybe it's easier because they do some big batch thing. It also seems like this is just a reprint set, which for core players I think is like 100% what people want.
I still feel like they're gonna find a way to sneak a new card in there.
You gotta get
Some
Blue Eyes or a
import.
Dark Magician in there somewhere.
What if it's a Dark Magician and Blue Eyes fusion? It'll be Blue Eyed Magician Paladin.
The Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
You gotta add that in. It's Yu-Gi-Oh. So, I don't know. There's not a pricing structure out for this. So I know if it's a 5-card packs, I'm led to believe it'll probably go something like either Maximum Gold, Ghost from the Past, like those types of sets where
I hate their little.
you get like 3 in
boxes.
little mini boxes. You get like maybe 3 in a box, and it costs like $20 or something.
Like as far as value for money for that type of sealed product isn't great, but
I guess being an anniversary product, though, I'm led to think that it'll probably have maybe more like long-term value. I don't know.
like it'll depend on the reprints we get in there. I know Premium Gold, it had some pretty like dog water like reprints in there.
Yeah,
It had
some were
stuff,
good, but some were.
but there was a lot of filler. If this set can be at like 40 cards we actually would like to see, that'd be great.
That'd be a nice start.
If the other 30 something are like
Not
filler, fine. But I would hate for this to be a case of we're looking for 5 cards and the rest is just
anything with that. No, I've heard people compare this to Duel Devastator. I want to kind of debunk that because that's certainly not the case. Duel Devastator was a guaranteed thing.
Which one was Duel Devastator?
That was back in 2019, like
Which
fall
cards?
2019. It was the one where you got just 40 guaranteed cards, and it was just reprints of some links. You got Effect Veiler.
I love that
Call
set.
by the Grave. They were
That
all
set was
ultra rare.
fire.
It was really awesome. Apparently, it did not sell super well. It's like the rumor is why Konami has not done more of them, and you can see why because because you bought it and you were guaranteed to get everything in it. There was never a need to buy more. Like
Right.
maybe you could buy 3 to get a playset of everything, but there would still never be like the gotcha is no longer in play. And so because there's not like an RNG kind of pull element, I think that
That's true.
they would kind of stick on shelves for a while.
And there's no chase card. There's no nothing.
You're guaranteed everything. So I think this isn't that, but this is exciting. So, Sign me up. I think this will be probably one of the bigger things to like open.
Yeah, it
just
sounds
because
dope.
of all these rarities going on. Like I'm assuming that since like these ultras have the 1 in 6 chance, that means that the prismatic style ultra and prismatic style collectors versions of cards will have significant price tags. That's another thing, actually. I think that this is going to like flood the market with a lot of different rarities of a lot of different
Oh
cards.
yeah, and in a way that I feel like that will cheapen the secret rarity. I mean, these upper rarities of cards.
I've heard some on Twitter and stuff. I've heard like some vendors have similar thoughts around it. Like, it just will this kind of cheapen the market value of this set maybe too much, or dilute the value of maybe the existing versions of these cards,
I know Ash Blossom's price is gonna drop for a little while.
and then like raise again in like a month.
It always does. But I've been using common ashes in so many decks lately. Thank you, Albash Structure. At least I think it was from Albash Structure.
There's like common ash in
Or was
every
it
other
Trap?
thing now.
Either way, love those common ashes. I put them in everything.
Yeah, so while I do see the fear of this maybe flooding the market, I still think on the whole net positive. Like,
Yeah,
this is better than not having this, I'd say.
I agree.
So,
there are worse sets.
cards
Leave
that I
open
would
them.
like to see reprinted in this, like you said, Rust is a good one, although I guess it's too new.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't.
But there's still a few other like
they confirmed a Droplets reprint, and I don't have a set of that yet. So
yeah, droplet reprint would be really cool. There's a few stray extra deck cards I think people wouldn't mind seeing printed again. So
I need an access code.
yeah, that needs to be in here. So yeah, kind of a cool product. These are the two new things. They also just generally announced Age of Overlord or whatever, but we already kind of like knew more about that. So
That's the one that has the new Zark on the cover, right?
yeah, new Zark stuff, and
Yep.
the Visa story I think is either concluding or like entering its final chapter in that.
Boy, I was looking at some of the newest Visas lore stuff, and I'm just like, boy, I thought this story was over. And not to say I dislike the Visas lore story. I have gotten into it, but I have no idea where it's going now. It's like he went to all these different planets, collecting all of his emotions, and then this other guy just shows up.
Yeah, so my thing with the Yu-Gi-Oh lore stories is I've kind of just started like I catch up at the end, like when kind of either the literature comes out that directly explains it, or just when enough of it is out that I can kind of piece it together without having to just wait for the next thing.
See, my problem is when that did happen with the Albaz lore, it got me on a lore kick where now I'm just like,
You kind of want it.
I just want more, and I went back and read all the World Chalice stuff because I ignored all of that when it was out.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It's a shame.
Yeah, World Chalice is underrated story.
Underrated. Watch my short.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for like TCG stuff, TCG products at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now Master Duel, in Master Duel news, shout out Master Duel, got a little hoodie on today.
Wow, the flex though.
So they released a new Forbidden and
Where's
Limited
mine?
list update. You're gonna have to text Konami later, you know.
Oh yeah, I do have that number in my phone. Of course,
So yeah, Forbidden and Limited list update from Master Duel. This is one that's going into effect on July 1st. Less than a month actually. After the current list, which went into effect on June 8th.
That is fast.
Yeah, these Master Duel lists, they crank them out. So this one's a mixed one. People have a lot of opinions, but before we get into it, so here's what it actually is. Fluanderies and Impin goes to 1.
I want to say that's good.
Eradicator Epidemic Virus to 1.
That's weird.
Tearlament Sulliak to 1.
I don't even know who that is.
That's their trap card, continuous trap. Branded Fusion to 2. Sprite Jet to 2. Swap Frog to 2. Metaverse goes to 3. So I know you probably haven't been playing like a whole bunch of Master Duels, so you may not be like
I play at the lower levels.
super aware of kind of what the meta is. Right now, at least in my experience, it's a lot of branded. A lot of branded decks. A lot of tier is still a really big thing. Oftentimes they're used in tandem now, like tier branded hybrids. But for the most part, people wanted them to ban Kit Kalos, the level 5 fusion. They have not done so once again here. They took the weirdest... I guess before I get into specifics, I have a bit of a half rant thing about Master Duel ban lists. I get them. I get what I think is maybe the thought process behind them. It's very different from the TCG, and it's also pretty different from the OCG. They really do minuscule ban lists. They're very marginal. They've seemed very
They moved a few cards though.
they move a few cards, so the best analogy I could come up with for these is death by 1,000 cuts, where a lot of these decks that are strong will get these very slight slap on the wrist nerfs, and then they'll get another very slight slap on the wrist nerf, and another very slight one, until they just, I guess, shave it away to where like it's at a nerfed enough point for them. And it seems like they're, I guess the method that they're using is they're like observing cards' usage percentages and win percentages in ranked play. So what's showing up too often or winning too much or causing games to end too quickly, that's what they claim on their own blurb on the game. It's just, I think what people don't like about these Master Duel ban lists is that they always feel like they're hitting the wrong thing or they're hitting the right thing but way too lightly. And I guess I think that maybe taking that highly statistical approach where it's like, okay, if we move this card from 3 to 2, that's the only thing we do with this one deck, that will decrease its win percentage from like, say, 60% to 58%. And like, that's enough for us. I get it. I think that there's like some valid reasons to use that method of balancing a game, particularly an online game where you don't want like just sweeping changes because people spend money on this. But I do think that it can sometimes make it seem like they're a little bit out of touch.
Well, I think you have to consider more so what the goal of a ban list is.
Right.
I mean, the goal is to keep the game in some sort of balance. Strong decks are strong for a reason. Like it was, T Elements was made to be strong. Brandon's was made to be strong. So they don't want to necessarily dethrone these decks. They're supposed to be the strongest decks right now.
Yeah.
But there is a range of there's an amount of or a percentage of wins they expect those decks to get, and when they start exceeding that for too long, it's like, okay, let's bring them back closer to what our like preferred model
distribution. Yeah. I think that's the more I've thought about it, because I was sitting on this ban list. It got revealed like 3 days ago now, and at first like people hated it and everyone on Twitter was like, this is stupid. This Master Duel ban lists all suck. They don't do anything. And while I'm not like perfectly satisfied with these hits, and I'm still yet to even go into the individual hits, but I'm still not super satisfied with the overall like just approach they take. I get it more now because I was like, okay, this is a digital game, which means a lot more people log onto Master Duel and play it every day than like TCG players there are, which might come as a shock, but it doesn't surprise me.
A lot of data.
They have a lot of data here, so I think that in an online game like that, they don't want to like rock the boat too much. They just want to modify things and tweak ever so slightly to just get like Sprite's win percentage a little lower or Brandon's win percentage a little lower.
They look at this game from a very macro point of view because they're looking at thousands upon millions of card interactions and game results. But as a player, we're very micro.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like lessen our experience here, but we see Yu-Gi-Oh at a ground level. Every game we play is extremely like impactful. It's that game matters more than the last 50 games. Whatever my last game is, that's how I currently feel. And a ban list that bans cards that are a problem for you, that like limits them to 1 or brings a card up to 3, that creates more satisfaction in a like game to game way. So like in this very micro sense, you love seeing cards get banned because you get that immediate change for you. But
Master Duel's not like that. Yeah, I think that with Master Duel, they're just concerned with like win rates. And it's not even like big sweeping changes to the win rates. It's just, we just got to get it right back in line with the distribution. So that's a great segue to go over the individual cards. So Flaunderies and Impin. This is one of these ones where it's actually a pretty good example. Flaunderies have taken a few hits already. They banned the barrier statue. I think Magnificent Map is at 2. And now Impin is at 1. An interesting thing about Impin is that Impins usually only run at about 2.
right.
And 1 does not change in any way the fundamental combo of Flaunderies. They will get to it as part of their primary combo, and their primary combo has not lost any consistency in this way. So a lot of people are thinking that this Impin hit feels kind of pointless. But I think that what they see, if just an assumption, trying to kind of put myself in their shoes, is when you deal with one impin, it is now much harder for Fluanderies to like just summon another. Now there's gonna be somebody who says, "Oh, but they can use the Fluanderies token to like return it to their hand or whatever," right? But it's not a matter because like Streak can banish it, token can return it to hand. There's a way to recycle it. It's actually quite easy to recycle, but I think ultimately what they're concerned about is the fact that now they have to go that extra step.
Yeah, have to commit some resources.
They have to commit to that extra step, and there's not just the off chance of simply having another impin in their hand anyway. And I know it seems like that's a nothing burger change. I get it, but I think from their eyes, that means that any game with Fluanderies where you would maybe like struggle and make your way to turn 3, turn 4, and then still lose because they just summoned another impin after you outed the first one, now your win percentage in those might change from like a 30% win rate in those cases to like a 35% win rate or a 40% win rate. And I know, trust me, as a player, it sounds like it, because they're good. So as a player, you're still going to face Fluanderies. They're going to beat you. You're going to be pissed. It's going to feel unfair. It's going to feel annoying. And you're going to be like, this impin hit did nothing. I didn't feel any difference. They still searched it. They still locked me out. I still couldn't play. But like you said, on that macro scale, there will be games now that Fluanderies lose because of that lack of a second impin that they needed in those little edge cases. And I think for the Master Duel devs, that is what will allow them to get that Fluanderies win rate from like 60% or something to like 57%. And that's within the reasonable threshold.
It actually reminds me a bit, and it isn't a perfect analogy, but it reminds me of when Thunder Dragon Colossus went to 1 for the Thunder Dragon deck. And that was a pretty damaging hit for them. When it's like, oh, we could make our Colossus, but when it got outed, and it would get outed, we were kind of left flat-footed.
Yeah.
Now, it did need to get banned because it was extremely easy to access in all kinds of decks, and so people were throwing Colossus onto boards with negates, and that was a whole other problem. But when you take a monster down to 1, even if it's a monster that's only played at 2, you hurt that comeback factor that a lot of decks have.
Yeah, some of the recovery thing.
Because at the end of the day, Konami says we can run 3 of a card in a deck. And oftentimes you want to have multiples of cards so that you have backup plans and recovery.
I'm reminded a lot actually of the current Arise Heart situation in the TCG, where Arise Heart is still just as oppressive when he's out, but it means when he is, like, when you do manage to out that Arise Heart, it's now much harder for them to,
and another Arise Heart isn't just going to show up.
So the next card is Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This went to 1.
I don't get it.
People think this is in anticipation of the Labyrinth cards, which are supposed to be probably releasing next month or so in Master Duel, and they are able to make really strong use of Eradicator. So I guess they're putting it at 1. One other major change with Eradicator at 1 means you can't use it with Trap Trick. Because Trap Trick requires you have 2.
You have to get rid of one
now,
to get the other.
Still, Labyrinth can search it from the deck using the new lady, I forget her name, Lady of the Silver Castle.
The one that looks like a knight?
Yeah, the one that looks like a knight.
That one's good.
She can like get it from deck, so there's still like an option there, but it's, it just makes the card a little less accessible because, as we know, Eradicator can be pretty shut-outy.
Like, that card can be brutal, but it's so situational.
I mean, I'm glad they put it at 1. I'm glad that it's something that like it can still be a strong tool for the deck without maybe just showing up a little too often.
I do think that if you had access to multiple copies of it, more times than not, you're just gonna really hurt your opponents.
Yeah, because now it's like you're just seeing it so much that games can just be ended by it. So, not a bad hit. Next is Tearlament Sulliek, probably one of the more controversial hits here. People just want the tier monsters kind of mainly get Kalos gone.
I didn't realize the trap was a problem.
So the trap is a weird case because it's all the spells and traps when they're sent to the graveyard by card effects get like search effects or recycle effects. Mm-hmm. Sulliek in particular is the one where like when it gets sent from the deck to the graveyard, you get to add a tier monster from your deck to your hand. So it's actually a big part in their consistency because every time it's milled, like you're getting to search as tier. Mm-hmm. And so I think by putting it at 1, they're once again decreasing the likelihood that you will be able to mill this thing. I think its on-field effect is like fine. I mean, it can negate something and kind of send a tier card. So it can trigger some stuff, but it's really more so that graveyard search consistency. It's still, though, an example of Konami like kind of dancing around the tier problem as much as they can. They really seem hesitant to actually ban Kit Kalos. And we all know that like Kit Kalos is the central piece, and the TCG's banned it. But like it seems like Master Duel wants to do everything they can to avoid banning it. And I don't know if that's like a good or bad
like,
decision.
Isn't it a good thing for them to try their utmost not to ban the cards you painfully tried to craft and pull?
So I guess people's argument against that would be that, well, Kid Kalos is just an SR, so it doesn't maybe feel as big of a deal. I would say, though, to your point, I agree that it's good that they aren't banning it. This is going to be a controversial one. I think for game balance, you could just ban Kit Kalos and have tier out of the picture for good, right? Like, they're just not going to really be playable at that point. Not in any meaningful way. But I think that with Master Duel, they don't want a Master Duel play, like a new Master Duel player, to start playing Yu-Gi-Oh through Master Duel, find out about a deck called TR Elements. They like the aesthetic, they think it's cool, and then you find out like the ace card is banned. I think that could be kind of their thought process where like they would rather limit and semi-limit things, but still keep everything legal to some degree so that a tier, like I know it's so hard for people to put themselves in these shoes, but like, let's say I just like the Visas lore.
Okay.
I'm that type of player, and I want to just build one of every Visas Starfrost deck. If Kit Kalos is banned, I now can't like do that.
You could, but it would be bad.
So I'm not, and listen, I know people are going to be like, that's stupid. I don't care about little Timmy and his dumbass lore deck. I know, but like that could be one more reason in my opinion.
To the developers of Master Duel, I mean, I'm pretty sure all players are considered equal. Just because there is a contingent of players who hate this deck, like Brimstone and like Fire,
and burn it, get rid of it.
There's still plenty of people who either don't feel any one way or another about it or really like the deck, and I don't think they have much of a reason to favor one group over another. Because I mean, I don't even know if like how much we spend in gems even makes a difference. I don't.
Because the thing is, there's just as many casual people in Master Duel as competitive people.
Right.
It's hard to see it that way when you're like in ranked ladder and you're in diamond and all that stuff, and like you're just playing against Brandon and Tier all day long. You're just like, this game is ruined, it's dying, it's dead, I'm uninstalling. But there are just as many people who are just hard silver, hard gold, like they're just having the time of their life probably in Master Duel, just having fun.
Boy, to them, gold is a time.
These people like, they don't really see the tier like as anything. They might just kind of be curious about it and play it for themselves. Mm-hmm. It's a weird perspective. It gets into that whole like there's more to the game than your bubble of experience.
Right.
And I think that this is I don't call it a hot take, but like something of a take is I would rather generic cards be banned than decks like Ace monsters and stuff. It's why they I think have kept Colossus like at 1 in Master Duel while it's banned in the TCG. I'd rather like random stuff like Block Dragon or Chaos Ruler or Rongominiad honestly be like banned as opposed to like
Block Dragon.
Banning Impin or banning Kit Kalos or whatever, because like I know it's like a controversial one. People can fight me on it in the comments. I get it.
It is not controversial to hate Block Dragon. That card is wrong. It just shouldn't exist.
Next is Branded Fusion of 2. This is one of the examples of a card that just it feels like putting it from 3 to 2 just makes such a small dent. But I know it's that dent that they're looking for.
It's such a small hit. But I think the idea behind it is just let's get the ball rolling with like starting to hit the deck now. They'll probably make another update to their list in a month and a half or so, and they'll hit it again. And they'll hit it again. And
they'll do their death by 1,000 cuts, and eventually they will just get it chopped down to reasonable points. So this is a card that's normally played at 3. Now it's played at 2, so it's a little less consistent.
But they can search it anyway.
There's so many ways to search this card. Like, it's actually unfair.
They can search it, recycle
it. It's very... But...
They can search it, spin it, and reverse it.
But you know what? This is going to, in their metrics, I'm sure in their statistical analysis, will bring down the win percentage of branded from like 67.5% to like 67 or 66%. There's just going to be just those little edge case games where you didn't draw that branded fusion that you needed.
Yep.
And I can at least see one somewhat practical, like real world case is, you guys can tell I've played a lot of Diamond Master Duel now. It's gotten kind of annoying. But so let's say that they normal summon Alibur, the Jester of Despia.
Right.
So conventional wisdom kind of tells you always save the Ash Blossom for branded fusion, right? You just use Ash and branded fusion. Do not take the bait. If you Ash that Alibur, there's a very real chance they already had branded fusion in their hand.
Slam it down.
It was just a bait, and they slam it down, and now they just go off, and you look stupid. So I still think that even with branded fusion at 2, that ideology holds. However, it adds a lot of value to cards like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler, which could not hit branded fusion anyway. And now, if you hit that normal summoned Alibur with an Imperm or an Effect Veiler, and they can't search that branded fusion, there is a significantly smaller chance that they just happen to have a hard drawn one in their opening hand.
Very true.
It's from 2 to 3. And I think that it is that little intersection that they're trying to like nerf it with those little types of hits. Is that a good enough hit? The day-to-day Master Duel player in me says no. I think that it should be harder. But I get it. Like,
So
they take it slow.
I had a thought, and I talk a lot about AI on this channel.
Oh Lord.
What if the Master Duel ban list is actually the statistics is being analyzed by an AI, and the AI decides which card should be decreased, and it gives its explanation on why it does what it does to the devs?
So you know what's like sad about that? That's not like the most far-fetched thought.
It feels very possible.
Like sometimes I do look at these lists and I'm just like, this is just an AI generated ban list. Because because I think that people see them, and understandably the hits feel so random at times and so small. But then you think about like throwing it all into an algorithm, just a big supercomputer and analyzer thing.
They have the data.
The depths of Konami. They've got all the data. And it just says, you know what? If this card went from 3 to 2, it would change like this distribution by this much, and so that's the hit.
Really?
And maybe that's just one thing.
That could be it, man. That'd be insane if it is. And then it's not. Then like someone from like the Master Duel team sees this video and they're like, "Whoa,
they're on to us." No, I mean, it's funny, but like it can. There's like that little shred of a chance of truth. That's like. So yeah, that's Branded Fusion. Sprite, Jet, and Swap Frog both went to 2, which are very clear hits to the Sprite deck.
Yep, just slight hits.
Yeah, they're just this little
the slightest.
I mean, I will say this. I think Sprite released with Sprite Starter, their quick play spell that just summons one from deck. They released with that pre-hit to 2. So that already kind of cut into their consistency. I think that they hit Sprite Blue in the last list.
I think it was blue.
Or under the TCG.
It was
hit
some.
blue. The
Wait,
TCG hit
blue.
The TCG hit one card, and then like I think Master Duel.
No, the TCG hit Sprite.
Was it Starter or was it Blue?
Dang, man, there's too many. We talked about
it's really hard to keep up with it all.
There's those 2 ban lists, and I also keep up with the Duel Links ban list, and I'm getting confused.
Anyway, to bring it back to the point, Sprite Jet to 2 and Swap Frog to 2 are 2 major consistency hits. I say major, maybe they're more like moderate, but it is just a little bit more of that thing where there's a lot of cases where like you normal summon a level 2 monster, and now your opponent pretty much has to like max C right then and there, or whatever, because as long as there's a level 2 on the field, then the sprites can just start summoning. And so it's at that moment that like they can summon Sprite Blue, which search a starter, which can get Jet, which can get whatever, or like, and there's like a lot of different orders that you can do it. Or they can summon Jet, which gets starter, which gets blue, which gets carrot or red, which like just, and it all kind of goes. And it can make it very hard to hand trap this deck, and it can make it very hard to like get through its steam. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that there's a slightly lower chance of them kind of hard opening with Jet and stuff like that, combined with now that slightly lower chance of like them opening with starter, means that opening hands on average of Sprite players will take a noticeable, like, kind of impact. So I think these are good hits. They don't seem like they're overly harsh because and I don't think that Sprite deserves it. It's not like the best deck in the game right now. It's like maybe top 3.
But boy, is it annoying.
But it is really annoying. So I will not say no to these lists or to these hits. And the Metaverse to 3, which I guess is just your pity prize because Terraforming's banned.
Terraforming's gone
You
now.
can run these. I don't
Here's
know.
your 3 traps to search your field spell. Ooh.
So yeah, that's the Master Duel ban list. You know, it'll be in effect here in about a week. I mean, you know, I'm gonna play it. I'm addicted to Master Duel, so
Yo, he really is. It's
so
crazy.
I'll deal with whatever it is. I mean, hopefully this makes some small impact on this branded tier nightmare meta. It is weird that like this is coming out like 3 weeks after the current list. And the current list went into effect on like June 8th.
Hey man, it's like I was saying before. The
You like
live
his
service
frequent
games.
hits? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying live service games, they need to be updated and like rebalanced regularly to keep the player base
Kinda
motivated
stimulated
and like and stimulated. That's the best word for it.
Yeah, okay. No, I mean, and I'm not actually complaining about the frequency of the list. I guess it's a bit whiplashy if you've played the TCG a lot, where like I guess we're just so used to lists not having dates, which I guess in Master Duel they also don't have dates.
Hey, you'll get in a couple. You'll
But
get in a few weeks.
The
A few
spacing
months.
can be so different. It's a little different. I don't know. It's weird. I don't mind it. I don't have a problem with the release frequency. It's just bring attention to the fact that it's very different. So how often are the Duel Links ones?
In Duel Links, oh man,
I hear those are also kind of fast.
like they can be, but also they cannot be. It's weird with Duel Links. I haven't been on the like the edge of Duel Links news, so I don't pay as much attention to the release cycle in Duel Links. I just when changes happen, I take.
You just gotta hear that.
Notice.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's the Master Duel ban list. Let me know what you guys think. You're gonna be playing. You like it? Do they do enough? Do they not?
I mean, we'll find out now, won't we?
All right, I think that's enough Yu-Gi-Oh news, right?
Yeah, that's more than enough Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh out.
Any other TCGs? I know.
You got a story?
So this isn't really a story, but this week the Magic Lord of the Rings set releases.
Oh yeah, you've bought a couple.
Yeah, the sneak peek was last weekend, guys. So I bought like 2 of the little collector's boosters, trying to pull the One Ring. Y'all, those things are like $40.
That's wild to me. That like there's a pack that's $40. It's kind of crazy. I remember when they were doing the 30th anniversary thing, and people were like, "These packs are $250." And I was like, "That's like just psychotic."
Yeah, like yo.
But then I was like, then two people are telling me these packs are $40 for this one ring. Like,
yeah, like
I don't need it.
I knew about
I don't need
collector's
it.
boosters already, and I thought I'd made my peace with how expensive they were. But I really hadn't. So for some context, guys, in Magic the Gathering, they have every set releases with like a normal set and then a collector's booster set. And the collector's booster has alternate arts, alternate rarities, same cards, just shinier and better.
Yeah.
In this case, it's more pronounced because the One Ring, one of one, potentially $2 million card,
Or whatever they're
is
bounty
only in the collector's boosters.
I really thought it was going to be different than that because so there's something that. Oh, sorry. Were you done?
Oh yeah, you know.
Well, that actually changes my perception on the whole like ring situation a lot more now. Not in any like good or bad way, but it means that my hope of like a kid randomly pulling it is like kind of blasted.
Oh yeah,
now.
that's gone. Like
'Cause,
$40.
I was under the
pack.
impression this was like still in like a little $4 booster pack or something. Like any $4 booster pack. The fact that it's 40 means that yeah, you're only really buying this if you're like an adult. Or
You
whatever,
grown.
You know. You gotta be grown. You gotta have an income. I mean, or maybe a kid gets to buy one ever.
Like,
Beg mom.
and I feel like they wilded him for this because if you think about it, $40 and you get an infinitesimal chance to pull this One Ring card. Now there's other stuff you can get, and oftentimes with those collector's boosters, people find that the rarity and value of those cards can equal out the pack. I don't think that's the case here. There's because of the One Ring and the chase to get it, people are flooding the markets with the collector's boosters cards to the point where I don't think you can like make your money back on these.
Because the thing is, if everyone's still opening this for the One Ring, then there's gonna be so much of this just like just shoveled onto
these are supposed to
TCG
be
player and
the more
everywhere else.
valuable versions of these cards, but
But they ultimately won't be, right?
yeah. Now, He's like, well, what if you pull the One Ring? That'd be so cool, and it would be cool, right?
Yeah.
But check it out. Okay. So as far as I know, if I got this Magic One Ring card, I could sell it for $2 million. So could pay $40 to buy a pack and win $2 million. Many lotteries, like state lotteries in the United States, you can win much more than $2 million.
Yeah,
and those lottery tickets, they won't cost you $40.
It is. It's just hearing that $40 price tag really does change. I guess just my perception of it. I don't want to say like it makes it worse. It's like this feels a little more like yucky. Like I don't know. It's
the analogy I keep hearing is people would refer to it as like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But those candy bars weren't $40.
Yeah. I've also seen some fake ones show up online already, like counterfeits.
Of course.
Kind of thing.
I mean, Magic already has a whole tradition of proxies. Now you add that into people trying to get over and sell their like fake card for like $500,000. You've got a recipe for disaster.
It's interesting.
I wonder if we'll find out. Like, what if someone pulls it and they just hold it?
An interesting thing about that is like I feel like if you're buying this again, that $40 pack thing makes me really think that like you aren't buying this without intent, which means that you're probably recording it. I would just like on average, I think people are recording it because it's such a social media moment and all.
I would be horrified, I think, if there was a camera running when I pulled this card. Because then it's gonna be online in like minutes.
Yeah, and it just feels
and it's like, oh,
invasive almost. To
this guy pulled a $2 million card. Where's this video posted from?
Yeah, like
oh look, I know where this shop is. I was like,
yeah,
makes you a bit of a target.
So yeah, I guess that's just your weekly dose of One Ring, not drama, but just updates. I guess we'll probably just continue to update on this until.
I'll keep buying packs, as I have an extra. Every time I have like an extra 40, I'm just gonna blow on a pack, at least until it's confirmed that card is gone.
Yeah,
I don't know when that'll be. And it's really in Wizards' best interest if it takes a very long time.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's your Magic One Ring news, I guess.
Yeah, I guess for once we don't actually have like a true Wizards controversy.
No controversy this week.
That's wild.
Hey, I gotta start a record here.
Yeah, look at that. Wizards controversy. How long? Yeah, we're gonna get a calendar
until there's like
days without
Magic.
Yeah, without Wizards or Magic controversy.
Okay, well, I have a Pokemon story.
What you got?
So there are two of them actually, and you've probably heard at least one because this was just like that video online, the McBeating.
Oh yeah, I got that one.
Oh, you had that one? Okay,
yeah.
You can talk about it.
Okay, so uploaded on June 17th, a video appears to be from a local card shop event and has been viewed over 3 million times. A Pokemon player showed up to a Pokemon tournament with their deck and accessories in a McDonald's bag and wrapped up in a McDonald's burger wrapper. I think even a box of fries.
Yeah,
my picture's not loading anymore.
Yeah, no, I saw this tweet when it was posted. I think it was like June 17th or something. And yeah, like a McDonald's. Yeah, my story says like a Pokemon TCG player has gone viral for getting a McBeating in a tournament after his opponent brought his cards, dice, and playmat to the match, wrapped in McDonald's wrappers and cups. So yeah, it's just kind of this is interesting. I mean,
players can be so creative.
Yeah,
I hope they clean that stuff first. What if you got ketchup on your cards?
Yeah, I was gonna say like just the latent grease and stuff from kind of a like French fry box, and you know what I mean.
But maybe they work for McDonald's and they got all that stuff clean.
I doubt it. It's just a person.
Many people work at McDonald's.
It reminds me of. I'm just saying, like, but the person who did a prank though, they probably just threw this stuff in the bag.
I mean, probably.
It reminds me though of the kind of wacky playmats that I've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh before.
Oh, like, you mean the ones with like the girls and they're like
yeah, no, not well. I mean, those lewd playmats. There's plenty of those in card gaming, but I'm talking about more of like I've seen people. Someone played once on newspaper. Like they use newspaper as a playmat, And I've also seen a person play on a towel. Like they use like a bath towel and like they
I
just
mean,
folded it up in like in the shape of a play mat.
I don't think there's any rule that says you can't.
What's the one that you said you saw the other week?
A rug. I saw someone play on a piece of rug. Not even a whole rug.
Oh, so they'd like
It was like
it had been,
they took
cut?
a box cutter and like sliced off a piece of rug.
and they were just that was their mat for the day.
Like I have to believe that they must like part time as like a contractor or something, because I said rug, but it's like carpet really. Like it looked like carpet, like the
That
carpet
kinda
we have
seems
here.
Gross.
I mean,
I guess it was clean, maybe.
I would hope so. That'd be wild. You went to a friend's house, cut out a strip of their carpet, and then took it to
As you're
locals.
playing it. Yeah, there've been some weird play mats. This is funny though. I just think like it's I have no words.
It's but I do think how the fast food like social media wars have been going with all the fast food social media.
Oh yeah, this
Now it's
McDonald's
gonna-
stocks are up.
Now it's going into card games. So now someone's gonna show up at Wendy's and Burger King, and it's gonna be a whole thing. Wendy's gonna tweet it soon. I'm pretty
I
sure.
remember when Wendy's. I don't know if they're still like this, but like they were like the mean social media like restaurant account.
The pandemic Wendy's.
No, this was before the pandemic.
Was
This
it
like,
before the pandemic?
Yeah, this is just like maybe 5 years ago now. It feels like maybe a little longer. Where like Wendy's was always like they would roast people.
Wendy's said
and
that red hair wasn't for show.
had like a sense of humor. Then there was like the Burger King tweet. The like women belong in the kitchen thing. There was like the women say
It's
controversy.
controversial for controversy's sake.
And at least this isn't like controversy. It's kind of just funny, but still, just okay. All right. Do you have another Pokemon one? I don't know if you do. 'Cause
I
do.
don't.
Okay, I do. This one's wild.
Hit me.
Like I know what we just heard was like kind of wild. This is wild.
More
Police use Pokemon cards to catch man accused of setting off multiple explosions.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, at first I thought this was fake, and I was like, all right, this is just some bullshit. No, it's
Detective
real, apparently.
Pikachu over here. Like,
Yeah, shout outs to that. That was announced the other day. A man accused of setting off multiple explosive devices across a Maryland neighborhood has been captured after leaving Pokemon cards at the scene of the crime.
like a calling card?
I
What is that, a
think
phantom
so.
thief?
Who would have thought Pokemon cards would ever be the smoking gun in a case? Turns out they were literally smoking and pointed investigators toward a suspect. For several weeks, illegally manufactured explosives rocked a neighborhood, and police had no answers until one officer was able to connect the dots. After police discovered a crater from one of the explosions, finding it was filled with Pokemon cards, an officer recalled earlier arresting a man days before who had a big stack of Pokemon cards on him. So, yeah, according to Fox News, the Harford County Sheriff's Office Special Response Team carried out a search of 34-year-old Jeremiah E. Burnett's home and found more packages of Pokemon cards. Police say that Burnett told investigators he was the one who had detonated the devices, but did not give a reason why. In another eerie coincidence, Aberdeen police also received a report from a man who had an argument with Burnett. The man claimed Burnett ended his conversation with "boom" and says he found a Pokemon card on his front steps just days later. So Burnett was arrested and charged with 2 counts of possessing a destructive device and 2 counts of using a destructive device.
He must have had a rare Pokemon card.
This isn't even the first Pokemon-related crime this month. Earlier in June, police shut down an international smuggling ring where men would use Pokemon art cases to traffic cocaine. I don't have that story, but I just thought they mentioned at the end. Yeah, so this guy was blowing places up, and I guess leaving.
I don't.
Pokemon
Wait.
calling
I'm
cards.
trying to figure out about the Pokemon cocaine. Wait, I gotta find.
Yeah, you can look
this.
it up, but yeah. So I mean, but first of all, just the explosion. Like, they don't exactly go into detail about what these explosives were. Like, I don't know if these are like what bomb? Like, what were they?
I'm telling you, man.
How does like this
Man's
normal
was
guy
a
like
it was a
have
phantom
these?
thief, and those were his calling cards. He was playing a game with the police, like catch me if you can.
It is kind of funny though that like he would leave them as calling cards. Like, is that a little twisted or
It is. It is twisted.
It's just
They had to battle. Okay, I keep finding pictures of people doing lines of cocaine with Pokemon cards. Oh, that's not what I'm looking
okay.
for.
Well, I found it. Police bust operation using Pokemon art cases to traffic cocaine.
What is a Pokemon art case? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. So Cocaine and Pokemon go about as well together as oil and water, but that didn't stop drug traffickers from combining the two in a bizarre operation. According to reports, took a joint effort by the Bristol County State Police Drug Task Force and the U.S. Postal Service to bust the operation. In total, 2 New Bedford men were arrested after police delivered a package to an apartment using an undercover postal inspector. After the undercover postal inspector dropped the package off, Darren Casada Ruiz grabbed it and ran down the street, where he got into a Jeep Renegade, where police were waiting. Shortly after, police stopped the car and arrested its driver, 19-year-old Angel Rodriguez, along with 20-year-old Ruiz. On the art. Oh, okay.
I got a picture of the art case in case you're curious.
They have a picture here where that's what they were using. So once the cops have obtained a search warrant, they opened the package where they found 2 Pokemon art cases sealed with plastic, and inside of these were 2 kilograms of cocaine.
2 kilos?
So 5 similar packages had been sent from that same apartment, or to that same apartment from Puerto Rico over the last 2 months. So yeah, I guess they were using these Pokemon art cases because that would be, I guess, not suspicious.
This is the best time to bring back Detective Pikachu. It's like Nintendo knew.
Yeah, kind of just an interesting. I mean, so what do we think of these? These explosions, the cocaine, like what's going on?
Man, like all I can think of is if people are doing all this with Pokemon, just wait until they get their hands on Digimon.
I feel like Digimon. I think when I think of Digimon, I think of more of like a hacking thing, right? Like some hacking controversy.
And that Louisiana hacking thing happened. They hacked the DMV.
Yeah, so
the calling card was an Agumon.
So that's your Pokemon TCG news. And one last little quick bit: the Pokemon 151 set, I think, just went up for pre-order today. I heard too.
In Japan or here?
Here. It's coming out in the United States or I guess in the West or whatever, on September 22nd. And I guess when you guys are listening to this, it will have been yesterday. But yeah, the Pokemon 151 set that's got all the Kanto, alt art
I
stuff.
don't care unless Tyranitar is in it.
Is he one of the first 151?
No.
Then no.
Then I don't care.
So yeah, get on that. We'll try to maybe open some. I don't really normally open Pokemon cards, but this sounds exciting, so why not? But yeah, that's your Pokemon news.
So I did check to see if there's any updates on the Lorcana, Ravensburger story. No, we don't have anything new yet.
Okay, well, I have a thing. Unless you have another. You got it? Okay. NFT card game Z Era suffers devastating hack.
I'm just going to leave.
I know. But hear me out. It's good because I don't like NFTs. So, $285,000 looted, coin worth nearly erased. I don't know anything about this game. I'm just going to read what is on the article.
Go for it.
I don't like NFTs. I'm not a crypto guy. So, blockchain security firm Certic, where it's like the K is up anyway, reported that the NFT-based card game Z Era fell victim to exploitation, resulting in a staggering $285,000 loss. Let's dive into it. So here's the TLDR. Z Era, an NFT card game, suffers a hack, resulting in a loss of $285,000. Certic uncovers an exploit involving an unverified contract deployed by an outside account. The attacker obtained 1.8 million Zera tokens and sold them, causing the Zera token price to plummet by 99%. Ooh. Additionally, 1,178.5 BNB
bread and butter combos
is transferred to Tornado Cash. I don't know anything.
You're saying
about
a lot
crypto.
of things that I've never heard of.
I think it's like a coin or something. And the stolen tokens represent around 27% of the total supply. Despite the incident occurring shortly after the game's launch, Z Era remains silent regarding the attack. Okay, so this game apparently is an NFT card game that launched on only June 18th. Or the app debuted on June 15th, and the token launched on June 18th. And no one's been able to contact them since this attack. This incident serves as a harsh reminder of the vulnerabilities within the NFT card game industry. Z Era now faces substantial financial and reputational consequences from the hack.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it really matters. You know why?
Why?
Because no matter how much I search, as far as the internet's concerned, the story happened, but these cards don't exist. Like if you look for Z Era card game, I don't know where it is, Paul. I can't find it.
Don't exist, you say? Almost like NFTs are things that don't actually exist.
Like I keep getting Zera the Mant and Mazera the Deville.
Well, you're supposed to type in Z-era.
I did.
Okay.
I'm still getting Angel of Zera.
Yeah, so this is gonna be one of those stories where I don't really know shit. I really don't. I don't actually have like a strong opinion. I'm not gonna say like good for them, they lost money or whatever. I don't play NFT card games. I don't collect NFTs. I don't.
Does anyone play NFT?
That was gonna be my next question. Is like, is this like even a card game, or is it more like just collectible? Like you just get the images and they're just kind of
guys. You tell us.
Masquerading as
Do y'all
cards.
play NFT card games? Is that what y'all doing now? Like, let me know.
I almost feel like they couldn't even be a card game. I feel like it'd probably just be a collectible.
But they call it a card game in the article, huh?
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
There's just all this crypto stuff like.
and in games, someone has to be able to win. But it sounds like the hacker really won in the end. So
Yeah. Well, don't play crypto games, people. Like, just don't.
yeah, and we're not giving you financial advice, but we are giving you some life advice.
Just don't. Like, I don't know what this is.
Just stay away from that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's your little. I know, like, we always gotta kind of get like some little AI or something story in here. So this is like kind of your alternative weird crypto story.
Yeah, get your crypto cards today, boys.
Yeah, this NFT game Z-era. So stay away from it. It sounds like it's not a good place to be. I would have probably advised staying away from it even before this hack, but you know, that's neither here nor there. You got anything else?
Well, the last story I had, it turns out I didn't save it to my tablet.
Well, that's okay because we got a Nintendo Direct.
Oh yeah,
to talk about.
We got an entire Direct.
So much like with the Sony sort of state of play or whatever that we talked about a few weeks ago, Nintendo did their thing. Sorry we didn't cover Microsoft. I kind of forgot it was happening, and I don't play Microsoft consoles anyway. So
what happened? I don't remember.
Microsoft had a thing. They announced some games.
Oh, okay.
But Nintendo's one like happened this morning as the time that we're recording this, and I play a few Nintendo games here and there. So
I've seen a Switch.
Any highlights from it for you?
Oh man, Dragon Quest Monsters, the Dark Prince.
Oh, you're into that?
I love Dragon Quest. I love it more than life itself. My first Dragon Quest was it wasn't called Dragon Quest back then. It was localized to Dragon Warrior, and it was like Kobe's Journey, something like that. But it was a Dragon Quest Monsters like title where you collected the very iconic looking Dragon Quest monsters and you had them battle. It was on the heels of Pokemon. Look, guys, Pokemon was popular, all right? No, everybody wanted to do it.
I thought the Dragon Quest Monsters game looked really cool too.
Yeah, but that game, I think it's a sequel to Dragon Quest 4. Yeah, typically with Dragon Quest games, you don't actually the order of the games doesn't really matter. They don't really share a universe most of the time.
Yeah, but there's like occasional references and stuff.
Yeah, there are references. And in this case, I think this one might just be set in the same world as Dragon Quest 4, which means I need to replay Dragon Quest 4 so that I can be fresh and ready for this game when it releases December 1st.
My only real major exposure to Dragon Quest was watching The Adventures of Dai,
which is a great introduction, but not good enough.
Very good anime, though.
Play Dragon Quest 8.
I know I've heard good things about that too. I
love that game.
Barely have so much. Anyways, yeah, so that's really cool. Like I said, I've watched the anime. The game looked good. I thought it was kind of cool that it's more of a monster tamer kind of RPG and not just your characters and their things. But because I do remember when I watched the anime that I feel like the monsters were such a cool part of it because there were a lot of cool designs, like the creatures and the monsters.
And many of them are just goofy.
And they're kind of goofy looking, but they also did not do most of the fighting. They were like mobs in some cases, but you know.
And Dai was mostly friends with monsters, so it really wasn't like into like killing them as much.
So I guess some highlights of this. There's Pokemon DLC.
Oh yeah, the teal mask. No, teal mask and something disc.
Yeah, I don't remember what they were called, but there's one where it's like kind of this country festival place, and then another where it's like there's an island on the water.
Yeah, that one had the turtle thing, and the festival one had the one wearing the mask, the two different legendary Pokemon.
So I didn't play a lot of Scarlet and Violet, but you've played a good bit of it.
I did.
How do you feel about these DLCs?
I can't wait. Scarlet and Violet were some of the most complete Pokemon games we've had in quite a while, and the only way to make them better was DLC, and we're finally getting that. So
yeah. Maybe complete in one way. I know they complete in terms of maybe like performance. I know people had different opinions on that.
I don't judge Pokemon games by performance because if you did that, you'd never be satisfied. Like Pokemon games aren't good, like performance wise. They're just not.
Yeah. So that was a thing. So the new Sonic game, which has actually already been announced like about a week back.
That was
Sonic
the
Superstars.
Sonic hero shooter, right?
Right. Yeah, Sonic Superstars I'm kind of looking forward to. I saw that Persona 5 tactical game.
That was cool.
Turn-based strategy. A lot of turn-based strategy games in this presentation.
I think in a weird way, the modern era of action gaming has made people nostalgic for the turn-based days of old.
And I don't have any problems with that. Because I think that what you were seeing happening is that these game series like Final Fantasy, like with 16, for instance, it's kind of gone.
Comes out this week.
And it's really gone like fully action.
Yep.
Right? And it's been like the Final Fantasy series has been kind of moving in that direction for a long time. So if you want to find that more like kind of retro just JRPG fix, you have to either look to like Dragon Quest or some of these like indie games and things. Or like, the spoiler kind of like Super Mario RPG, like that remake and stuff. It feels like there is a growing, like that's regrowing again, like kind of.
People want to take their time. They don't want to just mindlessly press the same button to do like your 3 different combos.
100-hit combo. So yeah, Persona 5.
All right, look, guys, I'm just gonna say it. We're tired of playing Devil May Cry in every title.
Yeah,
I said it. I won't take it back.
This Detective Pikachu game, that's kind of
that one caught me off guard.
Yeah,
but it grew on me because Pikachu's voice just sounds so not Pikachu.
What's it sound like?
So Detective Pikachu sounds like the guy at like the diner who like smokes a cigar before getting his coffee, smacks the waitress on the thigh as she walks by, and like mutters like angry things as he reads his paper.
And then goes home and beats his wife.
Like that's what Pikachu sounded like.
Gruff voice.
That's
now, kind of interesting.
I'm sure he has a heart of gold. If it's anything like the movie, then Pikachu is really just some detective trapped in a Pikachu's body, and he wants to like stop crime or whatever. But it looked nice.
It was cool. It kind of gave me the vibe that it was like a 3DS game in development, and they like made it a Switch game.
That's what every Pokemon game feels like.
Yeah, they all look kind of like that. So yeah, I'll play it. I remember seeing the Detective Pikachu movie and liking it. So
that was the one with
really
Justice Smith. Yeah, Justice Smith.
That was a nice looking movie.
It
Shame
was.
we didn't get a sequel to it.
I think it was extremely expensive. I think I heard it was just a monumentally expensive movie.
So Super Mario RPG that gets a complete like HD remake.
I hadn't even heard of that game until I saw the trailer.
So I've never played Super Mario RPG. I've heard loads about it. I know it's got like a cult following. There are people who like the character Geno from it. They always want him like in Smash Bros. And so that looks really cool. I like the look. I'll give it a crack. I mean, I really liked the Paper Mario games, and I feel like Super Mario RPG was kind of not successor, but a precursor to them in a way. So this seems cool. Like a new generation of people can enjoy this. Oh, you're not too into it?
I don't buy Mario games.
Wow. No, I don't know what to expect, but I'll get it. I'll see. There's also a game about Peach, though they did not give many concrete details. It's just kind of a teaser.
Given the what happened with the Mario movie, Peach's role, they gave her a more active role in the movie, and it was actually well received by a lot of people, at least from the people I spoke to and some of the things I read online and some of the artwork I saw online. Anyway, I think this was just what was guaranteed to happen,
Yeah.
We're always looking for more ways to spin off these major franchises, and
giving a character their own game is always fun too.
Yeah, like Luigi's Mansion,
Yeah, they're remaking Dark Moon, I guess, with like updated HD graphics. That's a cool one.
Because just as many, anyway, let me rephrase that. For every cease and desist Nintendo puts out, they'll also remake the game they're cease and desisting you for.
Woo! True though. Yeah, a few other games, like the dungeon crawler game Silent Hope, stuff like that. That game.
Silent Hope had an interesting thing going on. I liked the anime cutscenes it had.
Same.
And there's something to say about a game that's just a dungeon crawler,
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, it's almost like that turn-based RPG thing where like we're kind of getting back to just these more, I guess, retro feeling genres of like RPG and stuff like that.
I think because the triple A ceiling has become so high.
Or yeah, there's these like,
and then
cinematic games that must
like,
be action and everything.
And every major studio, they know they're making those types of games. Like sometimes you just want to bring it back down.
Yeah, there's like Mario and Rabbids DLC. There's
so I was surprised by that.
Mario Kart DLC.
Okay, no one should have been surprised by that.
And then this new Super Mario Bros. Game. It's Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Oh yeah,
which looks a lot like the new Super Mario Bros. Games,
but it's vibey.
It's very vibey. Yeah, it feels like what my first thought was like. You know, I don't know how much you know about like this new Super Mario Bros. Games. There's like 4 of them.
Yeah.
First one was on DS, then they made it on Wii, then they made it on 3DS, then they made it on Wii U. And the first time they made it, it was super fun and very novel. Right. New Super Mario Brothers.
That was one with Giant Mario, right?
Yeah, the Mega Mushroom. Then they made the Wii version, which had like 2-player co-op, and it was really cool, like a console version
we
of this.
We played that in the dorms.
We played the Wii U one.
Oh, Wii U. Look, I don't know the difference between a Wii and a Wii U.
Most people didn't. That was their big problem. And then on 3DS, it came out, and then it came out on Wii U. And those latter 2 was where people kind of had gotten a little like, why are we calling it new Super Mario Bros? Like the 3rd and 4th one.
Because it's new
now.
The
formula felt very, like it's been a little bit done to death. This felt like if they actually took that and made it new and fresh and like unique. I liked the art style. I liked the weirdness, that wonder flower where when you touch it, you just something will happen.
I think this is the first game where Daisy's playable.
Yeah, that's really cool. So just I don't know. I thought that was very that was cool. Overall, I thought it was a cool direct. Was there anything else? I might have missed a few. I mean, there's a lot of games shown. A lot of indie focused stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, plenty of indie games. And can someone tell me what a Splatfest is?
You sound like such an old guy. Could someone tell me what a Splatfest is?
Well, I was just mad because they did the direct and like Splatoon was up there and they were saying some nonsense I didn't understand. And they're like, and now there's a new Splatfest. And I never figured out what a Splatfest was.
Yeah, well,
is it a festival? Do we buy things? I don't understand. I don't get Splatoon. That's for the other people. That's for the younger people.
So, yeah, all in all, a good direct. If I had to give it a grade, because I know it's like popular on the internet to grade these things, I really have nothing to compare this to. I don't watch that many Nintendo Directs really, so I'm not sure like what the norm is.
Just compare it to the last direct you saw.
I don't even know what that was. I'm just gonna give this like a B plus, A minus. I don't know. I mean, like it didn't have anything like where it's like a new Smash Bros, new Zelda, or whatever, new 3D Mario, but solid games. And something that I remember you pointed out while we were watching is Nintendo gives a lot of screen time to their indie titles, and I think that
they really do. They do.
That is cool.
I guess they select which ones they think have the most potential, and they put them in these directs.
Because I imagine if you're like an indie dev, that's a big deal. Like that can really make or break whether or not your game kind of gets the attention, the eyes.
Steam is gonna throw you on the homepage, not unless you're some weird. Steam is probably
it's so loud, and I know, yeah. Steam is such a loud place, and there's something like weird simulator thing.
And like Sony will still spotlight some of their games, but it's not nearly to the degree that Nintendo does.
So all in all, I think Nintendo Direct was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was dope.
You got a grade for it? What you giving it?
I give it a thumbs up.
Same. Let us know. What are you guys interested in? If you even play Nintendo consoles,
or do you not play games at all, and all you do is play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yu-Gi-Oh is the only thing you know. Well, that brings us, I think, to the pot. We got to do some pot every time we do this podcast.
That's right. We have this. And guys, do you know what Pot of Greed does? I don't know. Tell me.
Oh my God, we're just going to recycle this joke forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're going to pull cards from the pot. We each get to draw 2. So these are different viewer-submitted prompts that you guys sent our way. All right. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Team APS and community tab and stuff. That's usually where we ask.
All right.
You're drawing first?
Yes.
Okay,
this is simple. It has rank the Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Rank them.
Okay. All right.
Oh boy. Okay. I want to say this right off the bat. I've not seen all of them, so I don't think that I can give a fair rating. So I'm sorry in advance for when I inevitably.
Let's put them on an imaginary tier list.
Or we're gonna do this collaboratively.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it together. Okay. So, is there an S tier Yu-Gi-Oh anime? Is there one that is? It's a must-watch, mandatory. You have to see this.
Oh. No, actually, I don't think there's a Yu-Gi-Oh anime that is S tier. I know that's a harsh thing to say. I know that like, we're Yu-Gi-Oh. I've just never found Yu-Gi-Oh anime really in total to be like great anime or anything.
I mean,
but if I had to give something an S tier within the confines of like just we're talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh animes that exist, and so some things maybe got to be S. The boomer in me wants to just be like, okay, put DM up there because like. It's DM. I know that like it gets rehashed to hell and we get like Blue Eyes and Dark Magician stuff all the time. They get all the merch and it's like really annoying. And I know that there are some very huge flaws with like that anime. Story-wise, character-wise, the duels aren't even really all that good when you look at them in hindsight. They don't hold up. But it's, Battle City, man. It's Yu-Gi-Oh!
And I actually agree. I think DM is S tier. If for no other reason, then you don't get to enjoy what Konami is putting out unless you have watched Duel Monsters. They're gonna keep reprinting these cards, gonna keep showing these characters. You might as well just do it.
I will say, like, if it's up to me, I would say you could really just watch the Battle City arc, and that will give you the meat of the experience.
Disrespecting Duelist Kingdom.
I think, watch Duelist Kingdom for sure, and like watch Battle City. You can
stop.
You can skip the Noah thing, watch Battle City Finals, and you can stop. Like the rest of it, I mean, not to say the other arcs aren't good, but just that like if you want the core experience but not have to endure like 200 some odd episodes or whatever, then yeah.
Okay, so A tier. So this will be our very good Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Now this gets into the realm of I have not finished any of these. But what are you thinking?
So I'm going to go ahead and give my A tier to Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds.
Okay.
I think it had the most novel premise just out the gate, the whole card games on motorcycles thing. At least in the English dub, the opening's fire. I mean,
killing fast.
And like the Synchro Dragons were cool. They are objectively cool monsters.
I think, and of course, like you say, the protagonist was kind of the first. He just felt so different. He's a little edgy, a little, He's a good guy though. Yeah, I think that's fair. I would also put. So this one's gonna be weird. I think that there's people who are gonna like say like just a definite no to this. But I've heard really good things about Zexal.
I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna put Zexal in A tier.
I know. I think people have the wrong idea of Zexal, and I really want to like dispel some of it. Not like in this podcast.
How? You didn't even finish it.
But I've just heard good things, and from the like clips I've watched and kind of the latter half of it and stuff, I think it probably deserves it. People say it's got a really good story.
It is crazy. I keep hearing that too. Maybe it's you telling me that. I don't know, but I keep hearing.
I think I've read it a lot online.
Really good things about Zexal.
So it's like I'm throwing something on a tier list that I have not actually finished. So like I don't take it with a grain of salt.
What's crazy is you hear these things about Zexal, and then all these other Yu-Gi-Oh shows that are supposed to be better than Zexal, you don't hear nearly as much
about them.
praise.
I'm telling you, man, there was a time when that kids were number hunters. I remember it. Like they were kids, teenagers. They wanted to actually like a number hunt in real life. So.
All right, B tier.
Gonna throw. I know like our metrics aren't really even like we haven't decided like what throws an anime into tier.
Like what anime do you think is worse than 5Ds and Zexal?
I think Range is actually pretty cool. I've only seen a little, but the duels were very good because the duels are much more accurate to real life. That's all though. That's all I know. I mean, I don't know too much more.
Vrains is the anime that I actually have the least amount of experience with. But given what I've heard about Vrains, I think that's probably a fair spot, if not A tier. I would actually give B tier to GX.
Okay.
GX, it's contentious because the English dub of GX is so different.
It's such a different show.
you got in the Japanese version. They're pretty much night and day.
Yeah.
But I think the humor is right for me. I really enjoyed GX's humor early on, and
Like the dub, you mean? Like with the dub?
yeah, with the dub.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Same writers as like Digimon Season 2 and like
Right.
the Digimon movie Gold.
so many people will say that was to the detriment of the actual plot of the show and the pacing and whatnot. And
I think it works because like, well, sorry, you finish your thought first.
well, you can't forget the most damning thing about GX and why it cannot be in A tier, at least if you're from the West. They didn't finish it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like now, if you switched over to the Japanese version, you could finish GX and get into all the dark stuff. But I mean, it didn't finish in the West, and I think if you're looking at the GX dub, you cannot place it in A tier.
Yeah, I think while I think like DM is kind of the it's the OG, it's got like just iconic characters and music and moments, all that stuff. GX, people give 4Kids lots of flack, like, oh, they're so bad at this dubbing. But like GX it's a fun ride. Like for especially for like kind of the audience that would have been watching it at the time, like kids, teens, it's funny, everybody's kind of just cracking jokes the whole time, and it's puns, and I don't know, it's also the first anime where they started using archetypes. So even though like the archetypes sucked, it was, I think, better than DM in that way. So I don't know. I think it deserves B, maybe A. I don't know.
Now, I'm a big guy. I'm big on endings, so because of that, it would never get any higher with me. But even though I do love GX, C tier.
So I guess this is what
There's not many anime left.
Arc 5, right?
Yeah. So I like GX. I did enjoy Arc 5, but I cannot put Arc 5 over any other Yu-Gi-Oh anime purely because in that once you get past everything else, you get to that last arc of Arc 5. That story is
it goes downhill.
It's not fun.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that it had production troubles as well.
It starts moving fast. It's confusing. They introduce characters extremely late in the show.
And I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I cannot rank the 7 shows. I really have not seen I liked the first like 12 episodes of 7s or so that we watched. I remember watching that. And that was interesting. So maybe I would just throw it in like B or something and call it a day. But I don't know anything about it.
I follow someone on Twitter who loves like Yu-Gi-Oh 7s, especially the new one. Was it Go Rush?
Go Rush, yeah.
They love Go Rush, and like one day I might give it a try and find out. I mean, like it might be that Zexel situation where maybe it starts off rough and really picks up, or maybe it's just good all the way through, and I just didn't know because I thought I was too old for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Still want to see a Yu-Gi-Oh female protagonist. It's the fact that we haven't really.
Girls can't have you in their name.
Yeah, apparently not, according to the. No, yeah, we really need that though. Like in all seriousness, I think it would be just good for many reasons. My turn to pull a card from the pot of greed. That's our very uninformed anime tier list.
We're professionals.
Should Yu-Gi-Oh have Pokemon types and weaknesses? No, there's already too much to keep up with. Next question.
That's fair. But let's take a second and think about it.
So I remember they had it in Duel Monsters and stuff, like Duelist Kingdom.
In Duelist Kingdom, we did have relationships like that. Though it was still fuzzy at best.
Yeah, it was always kind of what the plot needed. Attack the moon.
Like, my monsters turns up the heat and evaporates the water on the feet. Like,
yeah, it causes Jinzo to rust. And then it's like, no, Jinzo actually has a super atomic armor that it's rust resistant for 10,000 years, and 1,000 dragons like 1,000. Yeah, cool if Yu-Gi-Oh was maybe more of a board game, kind of that type of RPG stuff.
That actually does remind me. There was a game in the old Yu-Gi-Oh manga. It was like I think this was technically maybe the first card game Yu-Gi played, but it was some like dragon attribute based game where you had like a metal dragon, a wood dragon, and the game was in a sense like rock paper scissors, and each attribute beat the other one. I remember Yu-Gi played it, and I thought it was really interesting as a kid, so I made my own cards and recreated that that game. I wish I just remembered all of it, and I wish I had the like little cards I had made.
You gotta look that up after. It sounds kind of fun.
But yeah, that was an attribute based game, or one beat the other.
I mean, it
wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh though.
If it let's humor the question a bit more. If it did have
there's a card based on it. The trap card that locks up 3 zones. Three spell and trap zones.
Oh, like Zing Zen's.
Yeah,
Zing Zen
Who?
Who?
Sing
Like
Shen Who.
2 cards or something.
I think that card was actually
based on that.
Based on what I saw in that manga.
Is that similar to what you see in the card Trade In, where like there's like the dragon piece on a board?
No, that's more of like I know that looked like chess. I don't know what
like
that game was.
Switch. I don't know. There's so many cards that have these references. What I was gonna say is let's humor it a bit and just assume that like there were type weaknesses and resistances. What would they do? Would it mean that like the monsters gain like attack when they attack a monster of that type? I assume.
But what would be? So I feel like it would have to be more attribute based than type based.
I think type gets too confusing
because we have fish, sea serpents, aqua.
But you know what though? I think Pokemon has, I believe, 18 or 19 types.
That's too many.
And Yu-Gi-Oh has like 18 or 19 types. So in theory, yeah. So in theory, you look so suspicious. But I think they have about like roughly the same amount of types. So in theory, they could have like a chart. It's just that memorizing that sort of chart just gives me a headache because like there's just too much to keep up with.
How a fish would have any different strengths and weaknesses to a sea serpent.
Oh, you think those are bad? What's an aqua? An aqua. Like it's not.
Aqua will beat Pyro unless Pyro beats Aqua because it makes the water evaporate.
And then it makes me wonder. Well, okay, so then I guess does Pyro beat fish because it would like fry the fish or? Yeah,
or maybe fire can't be underwater, so it can't affect the fish.
You quickly realize that things like that are best when like they're in a video game. They can you can just be reminded of like, okay, it just says on screen it's super effective and it does the calculation.
The game does it for you.
If in Yu-Gi-Oh you had to kind of like pull out your book and be like, oh wait, no Cybers. What's Cybers super effective against?
What is a Cybers?
I don't even know what a Cybers is. So yeah, now we're about to get the what is it? The
Illusionist.
The Illusionist type, which just. At least they could base that on...
Which, that's more of like one of those super types, like Gemini and Spirit and stuff.
Yeah, but they're adding it to like, it's just a type.
It's in. Right?
Yeah, okay, so to answer the question, no, it shouldn't have them.
That would be a different game.
It would be a different game. It's not that they don't belong in a different game, but I think Yu-Gi-Oh's are just too much to keep up with.
Yeah.
Draw your second card, Duelist.
All right, let's see.
So I can change Roland Lockbird.
Yeah. Okay, so should Yu-Gi-Oh have specific sets for formats like GOAT and Edison?
What do you think?
So this very idea reminds me a lot of like the Battle Pack sets, where they made sets specifically for sealed play. I know that one of the reasons why Konami didn't go back to them is they didn't sell well. And guys, we all know, we saw those things sitting on shelves back in the day.
We did.
Like, we weren't trying to buy them. There were no cards we wanted, and sealed play as far as casual play was not that big.
Yeah.
Now, Edison and GOAT are significantly larger than they were in the past, especially Edison. I think I saw a post online saying that signups for Time Wizard Time Wizard tournaments at Nats is already booked. Like sold out.
I didn't see that, but okay.
That's what I think I saw. I think I saw that. Don't slay me, guys.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, an Edison set, maybe even a GOAT set, could be popular, but
I disagree.
Well, it could be popular but not sell well. Is what I mean.
So yeah, that's where my opinion is that I think there's a trick to it. Yeah, I think if you just made like an Edison product, that would be hard to market. I know what people are listening and they're like, but I like Edison. A lot of people play it. Yeah, but like think about what when that's sitting on a Target shelf or a Walmart shelf, that doesn't mean anything to like really a very casual person or a newcomer or a parent or whatever. Like it feels maybe too specific. Now, it's not to say that I think it's like worthless and shouldn't happen, but I think that you do what Konami kind of already does, and you sneak the cards into sets. You make sets that are marketed as one thing, but like really they reprint a lot of Edison stuff. They did that a lot with Speed Duels. When they made those like Speed Duel Battle City products and stuff, it would be like a cool Speed Duel product that stands on its own right, But secretly, a lot of what they were doing, especially with the foil cards, like those secret rare promos in them, was they would just be secret rare versions of popular cards from GOAT format. And that actually, it kind of went into the design of the products, at least from what I've heard through the grapevine. So I think that you can do the same with Edison, where you kind of just make a GX-themed product or something, but then suspiciously, that's kind of where you slide in a lot of like the Gladiator Beast, Lightsworn, whatever, or like maybe you can make like a 5Ds product, but like there's Quick Draw Synchron and like Blackwing Vayu, and you kind of release them alongside new things. You have to be like strategic about it. And I want to repeat, I'm not saying this because like I hate Edison or anything like that, or that there isn't demand for it somewhere. It's just that demand is very niche, and that I think from Konami's perspective, like as business decisions go, they need to make sure the product is still
they have
overtly
to be able to sell
appealing.
Product all over the country at a massive level. So something quite that niche would not, I don't think it would make it to store shelves.
Yeah, so time to draw my second and final card.
It's with the chain, Ash.
This isn't even a Yu-Gi-Oh question. Would you get a Neuralink? I don't know who asked this. It's actually funny because it does make me think of like something. Okay, before I answer the question, Seto Kaiba 100% is like sort of the tech guy, and he's the Elon Musk of Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. Maybe a better one, but he would 100% make something like this where you inject it into your brain and like you can just
now the cards are in here.
Because in the 2016 movie in Dark Side Dimensions, their cards just like materialize.
Well, I remember because he has a whole like satellite cloud-based system, and your duelist just downloads the data.
So Yu-Gi-Oh wise, I 100% think this is like the coolest idea ever. I ain't getting a Neuralink though. Man. You can't. I don't think
context, guys. A Neuralink is essentially it was a
brain implant.
Yeah, it's a chip that gets implanted in your brain that lets you interface, kind of like a computer with the internet.
And it's supposed to be able to help people, who are maybe say paralyzed or something. They can like move again, or people, so it can help with a lot of just mental or physical illnesses or diseases and things. So that's supposed to be kind of the medical benefits to it, and it could of course be another way to interface with technology and computers. But also, like, God, that seems scary.
Yeah, like guys, I have to say it is like it's a scary thing. The idea of being so connected with technology, yeah, I definitely get 100% on. Like, I really wish I hadn't missed my chance with the early trials. I would have gotten one immediately.
Hell no, it's a hard pass from me.
Nah, I would have done that.
I mean, maybe like I could be convinced if they've gone through like once it's like, I will not be first wave.
Oh no,
I probably won't be second wave. I'll like wait until like the worst has happened.
You are bugging.
I don't know.
You want the like proper like perfected one. That's the one that brainwashes you.
Okay.
I want the prototype. I want the one that's a little buggy so that when they send the signal to try and control me, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I just don't think I want a Neuralink.
Like you want to be a perfect control drone, not me. I'm trying to be the expert.
Defective. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not too into the Neuralink thing. I mean, I think that if it was like a question of maybe just strapping on a VR headset and playing some Yu-Gi-Oh augmented reality thing, sure.
It already exists. Not legally.
As far as we know. Come on, Konami, get to it. Yeah, so no Neuralink for me. But Alec apparently wants one.
Oh, on site. Once again, they were doing trials for it, and I did not know. I wasn't able to get an application in. I would have done it in a heartbeat on everything.
All right, well, I guess those are the questions.
Yeah, that was our Pot of Greed segment.
Yeah, we drew our cards. Did you guys enjoy it? Let us know what you thought of this episode of the podcast, anything that we talked about. Thank you again for submitting your questions, and be sure to follow us on social media and, of course, subscribe to the channel.
And, guys, don't worry. We're going to keep up with our tally of how many pods we can go without Magic the Gathering controversy.
Yeah, we're at 8 episodes now, too, so we're almost at 10. We've been doing a pretty good job.
Somehow.
Thanks to everybody who's been tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Share the podcast. Follow it. You can follow it on lots of platforms. Have a good time.
All right, guys.
See you in the next one.